Hello class, this is Scott Johnson, and today my discussion board post is on the Second Amendment. And as a worldview statement, historians must be fair and objective in their interpretations. The Second Amendment states a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people, and to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. This is from Cornell's Law School Legal Information Institute. The right to bear arms has gained significant attention in recent years due to mass shootings such as Columbine, Sandy Hook, and the Virginia Tech shooting. Due to these mass shootings, calls for stricter gun regulations have increased across the United States in an effort to curb this violence. With that in mind, it is important to revisit the Second Amendment and the history behind its establishment. Included in the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, is the Second Amendment. Adopted on December 15, 1791, this amendment protects individual rights to keep and bear arms. The addition of these amendments to the Constitution was agreed upon by Federalists and Anti-Federalists in order to secure the ratification of the United States Constitution. In total, there have been 27 changes or amendments made to the Constitution to date. Influenced by English common law and the 1689 English Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment is in part based on the right to keep and bear arms under English common law, referred to as an auxiliary right by Sir William Blackstone. He also implied its importance to self-defense, resistance to oppression, and civic duty in relation to natural rights. Since its inception under the Bill of Rights, the Second Amendment has been the focus of several high-profile Supreme Court cases that have sought to clarify its place in the American legal system. One is the United States v. Cruikshank in 1876. This is where the Supreme Court ruled that the right to bear arms is not granted by the Constitution. It is also neither dependent upon that instrument for its existence, speaking of the Constitution. It's limited the scope of the Second Amendment's protection to the federal government. Another Supreme Court case that was important involving the Second Amendment is the United States v. Miller in 1939. In this case, the Supreme Court ruled that the Second Amendment did not protect weapon types not having a reasonable relationship to a well-regulated militia. Now, in the 21st century, there have been other rulings involving the Second Amendment. In the District of Columbia v. Heller, 2008, it was decided that the amendment protects an individual's right to possess and carry firearms. In McDonald v. Chicago in 2010, the Supreme Court clarified its earlier decisions that limited the amendment's impact to a restriction on the federal government. It expressly discussed the due process clause of the 14th Amendment in this ruling. In Cantano v. Massachusetts in 2016, the Supreme Court reinforced its earlier rulings that the Second Amendment extends to all instruments, whether they existed at the time of the founding or not. Even though these Supreme Court cases have reinforced the premise that individual citizens had the right to bear arms, gun control and gun rights groups continue to argue over regulation of firearms. Thank you.